Can I just check? It's the start of a very busy period of games. How are you looking injury and fitness-wise as a squad?
Pretty good. We've got a few niggly ones, but should calm down. Joe Rodriguez, just a bit of tightness. Matej Vidra, a bit of tightness, but they should be fine. Barnes is the only one. It's going to be a bit of time now because he's got a pretty decent, for want of a better word, tear in his thigh. So that's going to take a bit of time to calm down, we think. There's not a time limit on it, but it's certainly not going to be days. It's going to be weeks. So he's the only current one that's really out of action, so to speak.
You're up against a Spurs side who last night put in what many people felt was an embarrassing display, and their manager's been very critical as well. What do you make of their performance last night in Europe?
Well, at the end of the day, they've got to change again. Quick change with managers. There's no two ways about the manager knowing his stuff. And to be honest, the players know their stuff. It's just sometimes you need the connection between what you're trying to achieve tactically, a change of culture, change of manager, and getting the best out of the players. But there's no doubt in my mind there's still some very, very highly talented players there. I mean, that's a given for Tottenham sides over the last few years. The manager getting the best out of them, that's his job. His record suggests he will over time. I really hope he doesn't this weekend. That'd be helpful. But they don't lack talent, that's for sure. We're going to have to be well aware of the strengths that they've got. But equally, we're on a nice little run of performances. I've said that most of the season, actually, but certainly recently. We look a threat. We can score goals at the moment. We're defending pretty well. I mean, a couple of soft ones in the last game, but fair play to Palace, for getting them moments. But so, we still focus on ourselves, but we are aware that, change of manager, change of culture at Tottenham. So that may take time. And like I said, it'd be helpful if it does take time because we play them very quickly.
Is it a double-edged sword? Because in a way that they've, as you say, quick turnaround, they've got to get back home, they've got to get back up into Lancashire for Sunday, and yet there'll be a lot of players perhaps with a point to prove.
Yeah, I mean, that's for them to decide. If their players feel there's a point to prove, if their players feel energised or de-energised, that's for them to worry about. That's not for me. I just know Tottenham have historically a very strong outfit. So we've got to be ready. We will be. I like the kind of way that we're operating at the minute. We've got a couple of losses, not injuries, but obviously with Taki and Westy, who have been very good players and will continue for us to be so. But we still believe in the squad here, and I've said that all season. We've got a strong house squad, I believe, than what we've had when it's fully fit. And like I say, mostly, apart from them two suspensions of Barnsley, we have been fully fit a lot better this season than last season. That being said, we've got to obviously get more wins. That's quite apparent. But the performance levels have been good. So we definitely have to look at our performance as much as worrying or overthinking anyone else's.
A nice little unbeaten run, as you say, but is the slight frustration, you've got 6 draws already, is that down to game management?
No, not really. Often it's been down to taking chances. Not about managing the game, more about the chances that we've created and we haven't taken. We're looking more of a threat over the last couple of weeks and probably 4 or 5 games, that's for sure. But no, early season we were actually playing pretty well, as I felt, and as I said, the balance has to be right at both ends, and I think we've tidied that up a little bit. But I still think we can, offer more of a threat in the attacking third. But we are doing that, so it is coming. We've got to defend well as well, especially in the Premier League, because they're very strong teams you're playing against.
We're seeing Dwight, or talking to Dwight in a couple of hours' time. He's been around the first team squad now for about, 3.5 years, 22 this week. How much of a bonus is it for him? Because he's obviously been seen as one of your main areas of creativity, but now Maxwell's involved as well. Is that helping Dwight? Has that taken a bit of weight off his shoulders?
I mean, look, we want all the players to be creative. Johan, we know he's got that. Westy can be creative in different ways from set-piece situations, but also, some of his passing range. And, it comes in different ways. But obviously, Maxwell has helped with that. That's quite apparent. Dwight can play a number of positions, and we think he can be creative. He's still relatively young, really. And, he plays a lot of football. People forget that. There's only young players out there playing nowhere near the amounts of football he plays. And he's becoming a very, very rounded, very good player. Possibly, I understand your point. If Maxwell's kind of just given the team a different edge and a different way, that maybe sort of opens up the other players a little bit. So we'll see over time. But Max had a really strong start. We all know that. It's still early days for Max to keep getting hold of the Premier League, keep learning about the Premier League. But he's certainly doing a good job so far. And he's been really good to be around, and I think the players have enjoyed that as well. It's not just his performances around the training ground, the manner which he goes about it. I think the players have enjoyed that as well.
How surprised have you been at how quickly he's settled in? Because a lot of players from abroad seem to take a while.
Yeah, I mean, you're never sure. He's certainly adapted very quickly. Fair play to him, because it's not easy, cultural shifts in life, and he's getting on with things. His partner's got good English. He assures me better than his English, so I suppose that's helpful. But his English is improving. But no, I mean, look, you never know with these things. It's not completely new territory for us, obviously with Stephen Defoe and the likes, and I mean slightly differently with Johan and them. They've been here a couple of seasons already. But for Max Rogers to come straight in from Lyon and deliver is pleasing for us, of course, but pleasing for him. I said when he come in here, we haven't overcoached him, we haven't got too much involved with him. I said first things first, take your time, enjoy what we offer here, and get used to the players and get used to what you do. So he's taken that on quite obviously and delivering very nicely for us.
So his English is getting better. What about your French?
Fantastic. Del Boy French, petit pois and all that. Mange too. So that's about my limit.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. And Paul Walker, PLP.
Hi, Sean. A bit more on Maxwell, and it's a similar question to what's been asked before about how he might have improved or affected Dwight McNeil's performance. But do you think that he's lightened the load on Chris Wood a little as well?
I wasn't particularly thinking there was a load on Chris Wood, to be honest. But if there was on the outside looking in, possibly, not from me, there wasn't. I want all the strikers scoring. I want all the attacking players scoring, ideally. The perfect scenario is goals all over the pitch, to be honest, wherever they're coming from. But if he's come in and accidentally lifted any thoughts from the outside of other players, then that's a bonus, obviously. But it's not part of the plan. We just want him to enjoy his football, deliver, affect the team in a positive manner, and that's what he's doing.
They complement each other really well, don't they? You must be really happy with how they've dovetailed.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's worked reasonably well. There's still things that could go better. He's still getting used to the pressing lines of what we try and do in the Premier League, and that was on show against Palace. We didn't press the first half. Second half we did and pressed very well. We want to do that. We want to take the games on. But he'll continue to learn and adapt to us in the Premier League, like I've said all along. He's definite. I mean, you can see his fitness levels getting stronger. That's for sure. Premier League fitness, as I call it, I always maintain he's a very fit lad. But the point is, the Premier League fitness it's a different level. It's a different sharpness and a mental sharpness as well. And around and about that though, it's not just him. There's a lot of good performances lately. I've been pleased with a number of players actually, their individual performances and the collective performance.
You scored first in a lot of games this season. I'm sure you're aware of that. But only won one, obviously. What needs to happen in order to garner more points from those situations, do you feel? Just
the details. I'm obsessed with it. Games often change from sometimes a slip, sometimes a decision, doing all the right things all the time consistently for 96, 97 minutes, however long's played. That's what it is. That's what we have to do anyway, to get on the right side of the margins. There's some of the superpower teams can have a quiet day, with the margins and the details and still win. We often have to get all of the details right throughout a whole performance. And when we do that, we know that we can certainly be very competitive in the division.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hello, Clarets fans. Phil Bird here. Make sure you subscribe to Burnley's official YouTube channel and turn on notifications. Otherwise, you might miss moments like this. Oh, what a goal! And Wood was there to finish it.
You're spitting Glenn Little, look at us.
We hope you enjoyed the video and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Up the Clarets.